Thursday. Thanks so much for your interest in presenting your lettering piece at Type Thursday. So we have here an example of someone presenting a lettering piece at Type Thursday. So let's go over how this designer applied the how to get the best experience at Type Thursday document in their presentation. So in this case, we have Casey showing an intro slide, and there's a social media tag on top. We can see that, and some of her work very quickly shown. Then there's a question asked. So in this case, there's a question about eligibility and flourishing. So there's that main prompt slide. There's an option 1 shown, then an option 2. So it's not even just eligibility, it's also because there's a hierarchy question too, because it's the same content, but their position and emphasis is a little different between each other. And then you see the two together. So the main idea is you show one example, then you show another, and then you show them together. So in this case, the question is which composition locks up more successfully, is a little more cohesive and effective. As an example on the left, seems to be a much more centered, kind of blocked out section. There's a kind of arc on the top, then a main headline along the middle, and then illustrations on the bottom. The one on the right is a more integrated solution. So we have the title with more swashes above and below, and then underneath above basically the swash of the A, we have the subtitle and an illustration, simplified. So that basically seems to be the contrast between the two, that what we talk about in the Type Thursday session. And that's the beauty of doing it this way, is that we're able to all see together the individual projects and then how they come together. Then there's another question. So what composition is working best? So this is an example 1, and this is an example 2. And then the question is then which one of these two compositions is working better? So now we went from just the type lockup to now how do they work on a cover with illustrative elements around the framing, for example, and the author's name. So which one's more effective? And it's fun because, for example, maybe you had an opinion in isolation on the last example deck of comparisons, but now in this one you may have come to a different conclusion, like, oh, now I see based on what you're trying to do, you have a different opinion. And then third, and then the question on color palettes. Now we look again, we went from a very zoomed in direction of just a type lockup, then into the covers as a whole integrated element with illustrations, and then a third level of color. So is this the pink and white accents that is relevant, or a darker pink, a more red color combination? And then those are shown next to each other for comparison. So again, we can make a judgment call and have a discussion now on which ones are being more effective. And by the way, if you noticed, there was only 2 possibilities shown here. There might be a question someone might bring up, like, what about that other direction in this color instead, which is a totally legitimate mode of conversation. But notice that, look at how this is being presented. It's a way where we're engendering conversation with the audience, right? It's not a show and tell, like, look what I did. It's more about how to engage the audience for a conversation. So Casey did a great job of that in this presentation. So I hope this was helpful. I can't wait to see your lettering piece at a Type Thursday event near you. And thanks for being part of Type Thursday. Take care.